Hey everybody, I'm Brent, and you're watching one of my unreleased 360 videos that's actually from last year, summer of 2022. Feel free to use your mouse or finger to look around as I explain everything we're about to do. I never released this footage because it was from a shakedown dive and I didn't think the visibility was the best. But after so many comments requesting a longer video, here we are. And I'm going to explain what a shakedown is, along with all the gear we're using and why. Oh, by the way, because this video is in 360, I haven't actually seen all the footage from every angle. So if you spot something cool, call it out in the comment section. Okay, jumping right in. A shakedown dive is one that divers will typically do when they want to get experience on new equipment or new configurations before going on a normal dive. As you can imagine, this is great for safety purposes. You don't want to get in the middle of a dive just to find out that a piece of equipment isn't working as expected. So divers will typically do this in something like a swimming pool. But me and my buddy Jason opted for a shore dive because we're using scooters and we need more space to maneuver. And in case you're wondering what Jason's passing me right there, that's our dive flag. Florida state law requires that scuba divers use those anywhere near the shore and in some other places so that boaters can tell where scuba divers are and stay 300 feet away or more. Now in my experience, that doesn't really work. We've had boaters practically run it over, but that's the law, so we're gonna carry it. So back to the shakedown dive, what Jason and I are doing is using our rebreather, which is the equipment strapped onto our chest, and our scooters, which is the torpedo looking thing pulling us through the water, at the same time. We have experience on both pieces of equipment, but we want to put them together and we want to do some deeper shipwreck dives with them, but it makes a lot more sense from a safety perspective to get that experience in shallower shore water than to go out and just jump into deeper water for the first time with it all. So to give you some ideas of things that we're shaking down, here's some examples. So if you notice, my left hand will come up to my mouth a lot in this dive, and that's because I had a really uncomfortable mouthpiece in, and I didn't know it because it was the first time I had tried that particular one. So it's better to find that out now than on a 3-hour dive. Also, if you look at my right hip, there's this black cylindrical thing, that's called a transmitter. That's transmitting my gas pressure to the computer on my left wrist. But it's kind of dangling there on that hose, and I hate that. I really like things nice and clean and not really a snag hazard. So I clean that up too later on, and the leash going from the scooter kind of keeps drifting off to the right side of my hip, and I end up switching to a scooter harness and using an adapter that makes that work better. The rebreather is also a bit loose on my chest, so you can already start to see the kinds of things that when reviewing footage, I can use this information to then clean up the setup and make everything a lot easier and more comfortable to dive with in the future. And just in case you're not familiar with what a rebreather is, it's basically a device that takes the breath we exhale, removes the CO2, then injects fresh oxygen to replace what our body consumes. It's very efficient and what we use on deeper dives to reduce our decompression times. A fun fact is it also allows you to dive without making bubbles and noise, so you can get really close to the fish. And if you look near my right eye, you'll see another little black cylinder. That right there is the computer that controls the rebreather. And here's a quick screenshot of some of the type of information that would be displayed. As you can see, it's a lot to take in at first and not something you want to be task loaded with while using. That's why Jason and I spent a lot of time building ours on the rebreather before ever adding a scooter to the mix. Speaking of my scooter, because I get asked so much, I'll go ahead and say it's a Seacraft Future 1000. And that little black box on the front there is called the ENC3 navigation. That's what helps us get around and basically find the little reefs that we want to go to. And I know what you're thinking. If you have navigation, why do you keep surfacing? And that's because we learned you have to calibrate the navigation before every dive. So you can take this black box, hook it up to your laptop via Bluetooth, and download the information, which will overlay onto a Google map. And after this dive, it was showing some crazy data, like we were off scootering in the streets or something behind us. And so we kind of had to keep coming up and just taking a look to see where we're at, but no big deal. You know, this is a shakedown dive, so it's not going to be picture perfect. And that white slate that's before the screen, what I do there is I print off the azimuth, which is just the compass direction and the distance between reefs. So if our computer was to fail and we didn't have any electronic navigation, we always carry an analog backup compass. We could just use that slate and the compass to navigate back. Now this water is so shallow you don't need to do that, but we do it just for practice anyway sometimes. Ooh, that was a big pink meanie jellyfish just went by on my left there. That's crazy. Oh, and here is a piece of trash. It looks like an old hat or something. And I was so upset because I normally bring a bag to put trash in because every time we dive, we find trash, but I didn't have that with me. And I've tried to carry hats like this before. What happens is no matter what you do, they just fly off. So I felt bad that I had to leave it, but I ended up bringing a bag on my next dive and picking up some other trash. So I felt better about that. So some quick info about the scooter. They're also called DPVs, or diver propulsion vehicles. This particular one has 10 speeds and, funny enough, even a reverse, which I'm not sure where I would use that. But if you look at my right hand, my thumb will usually tap one of those two little black bumps right there, and that's just speed up and speed down. And I'll tap those throughout the dive. To get it moving, you just have two triggers, which you can't actually see in the 360 footage, but they're orange triggers, one on the left and one on the right handle, and you only have to press one of them down at any time. And I know I was sitting there talking about my scooter when there was this massive jellyfish off to the left, but that's kind of what happens throughout this dive. I just remember there being random jellyfish where me and Jason would be scootering along straight and relaxing, and then all of a sudden one of us would be swerving crazy to the right or left to avoid a massive jellyfish to the face. But that's all right. That's kind of some of the stuff you see when you come out here. It's really pretty, and we really enjoy the rides going out to these reefs. And by the way, the reefs, they're artificial. The individual counties along the coast in Florida, they all fund their own programs to put in things like concrete modules that bring in fish and create habitat and other like marine species to come in. It's really nice for divers and even for snorkelers to go out and visit. And a cool fun fact about them is usually they're in the shape of an animal or something from the sky. So like Walton County has a bunch of them, and they're in the shape of like a dolphin or a fish or something like that. And in case I forgot to mention, this whole area is off the coast in Destin, Florida. And I'm not going to be doing narration or voiceover for the entirety of this dive, just kind of randomly as I see things cool like jellyfish or whatever that might pop in. And I think there is a sea turtle somewhere down the line, just a little spoiler alert there. Oh, and a random thought, on the very end of my scooter, if you see a little circular looking thing with what looks like a propeller spinning, that's the speed sensor for the navigation. And unfortunately, the navigation doesn't show up on video. All right, check out one of these massive jellyfish below me to the left, just on the floor there. Ooh, this guy right here is called a moon jelly. Now, some people say they sting and some people say they don't. In my experience, because I've managed to like bump into them, I haven't ever been stung by them before. So I don't think they're too bad, but they're definitely bigger than like dinner plates and a little freaky when you run into them with your face. This whole area is a lot more hazy than it typically is. Usually when we come out here, the visibility is maybe 2 or 3 times better at least. So that was kind of another reason why I didn't want to post the footage. You couldn't see very far. Oh my gosh, up and to the left, there's 3 massive ones up there, 4. That's crazy. I kind of love the 360. It's really nice for reviewing my own footage sometimes, because I even when I was doing like the Megalodon tooth videos, I was looking back and just looking around like, dude, I don't know what was around me or behind me at any point in time, but I can go back in the video with 360 and actually see that. Speaking of which, I think I'm gonna upload that one next. Then we can all look at it together and see if we can find anything like, I don't know, big fish or sharks or whatever. Supposedly that area would have bull sharks because it's brackish water, but yeah, you'll see when I post it. It's pretty dark and not a lot of visibility, but maybe we'll find something spooky down there, I don't know. It's definitely not beautiful like this area. Some people ask me like what my favorite dives are, thinking that maybe because I'm a technical or rebreather diver that it's gonna be like several hundred feet deep or in a cave or something, but honestly, dives like this are some of my favorite. It's beautiful, warm water. I can wear a thin wetsuit, typically just a single open circuit tank, and I'm off having fun for a couple hours in this, and I really enjoy it. It's gorgeous. And it's fun as heck. Man, scootering is so much more fun than watching it, and I'm sure you can probably get that. But if I had to recommend one piece of equipment, it would definitely be a scooter over my rebreather any day. It's so much fun just to ride around. Like, we're not even in but a few feet of water, and I could probably do this all day, just riding around, going from reefs and stuff. It's so much fun. Ugh, that leash just wrapped around that hose with the transmitter. Everything all saggy and tangled up over there. That bothers me to see, but oh well, I fix it later on. Oh, dude, look at that massive shark behind me. Ah, made you look. Alrighty, we're pulling up to the first module of one of the reefs, and they're basically like concrete discs that are stacked up, and that promotes sort of like fish habitat. So you'll see schools of fish through here normally. Sometimes there's sea turtles or stingrays and stuff like that. So what you're gonna see us do here in just a minute is get down to the bottom and run the dive flag line around the bottom of one of these artificial reefs. And then we'll tie it in, and that way we can swim around the reef, and we'll have 300 feet of protection from boats, even though they won't see that moment of the flag. All right, so if you haven't done so already, I would really appreciate it if you'd hit that thumbs up button. That would help me out a lot. And if you're interested in these kind of videos, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when new videos come out. I'll be doing a lot more trips this summer, so I'm really excited to show you guys more 360 footage, as well as some underwater audio that I'm working on. Little spoiler alert, I haven't announced that to people yet, but I figured most people wouldn't be watching at 14 minutes, so I'll just throw that out there. And maybe my next video or 2 or 3, I'll have that working. So I'm really stoked to show you guys. I think the underwater narration is going to be so much better. You know, in this dive, I was thinking, wow, this reef area just seems like dead today. Typically, there are a lot more schools of fish that go through here, and you can just stop and they'll start swimming around you, and it's a lot of fun. But on this dive, it really didn't seem like much was going on. Yo, check that out. That's awesome. A sea turtle just swimming around in here. Jason's got his camera mounted on his scooter. So he's in the sand all National Geographic trying to get a good shot of it. He actually did get a really good view of that. I think I made a video or a short about this particular sea turtle last year. But we just kind of watch him for a little bit as he swims off. We don't want to follow him on the scooters because that might scare him. So we give him a little ways to swim off and then we'll scoot around a little bit more. But we don't like to scare things on the scooter as much as possible. All right, you remember in the beginning of the dive, I mentioned that leash and how it kind of gets wrapped around on the right side and doesn't really stay put. Jason tries to help me with that a little bit, but I just ended up, after adjusting it so many times in the dive, I just left it. And you know what? It's all good. I appreciated that he helped me with it, but I made an adjustment later that kind of gets the leash in a different position. If you're a diver that uses scooters, you know what I'm talking about. Ooh, yo, check out this close-up shot of this moon jelly I'm getting at the front of the scooter. So I can't remember if I had my GoPro at all. I don't think I did. So I was just trying to get the 360 camera as close as possible. I think this was also the first time I did a dive with my 360 camera. So I was trying to see what it would look like afterwards with the lighting and resolution and all that. It's pretty awesome though. Moon jelly. So I had this idea that seemed good at the time where Jason and I could just tie up our scooters to where the dive flag was and then go swim around for a while. But as you'll see, even after like quadruple clipping them, I could not get comfortable with the idea of just swimming away from something that is so expensive. So I don't think I ever went further than I could see it. And I just ended up looking back at it so much that I wasn't even really enjoying myself swimming around. So yeah, as much as that sounds like a good idea, gosh, that's hard to do. It's hard to just leave it tied up there. I need to get a cool sticker for mine. Jason's got those sweet teeth on his. All right, well, this was a pretty good shakedown dive. We got to test out a few things, and this video gave me a bunch of useful footage to go back and make tweaks to my setup. I doubt anybody's watching still at this point, but hey, if you are and you found something cool that I didn't mention or see, call it out in the comments. I'm interested. Put like a timestamp and what angle it was at. It's hard for me to see all the different angles with 360. So yeah, just kind of publishing this and seeing what it looks like. So it's kind of one big test for me. I'm not really sure where everything's going yet, but I thought 360 seemed fun. So thanks for watching. See ya.